everyone, how are you today? I hope you had a great day and I hope you are in a mood to learn today because we're gonna learn very useful and interesting things together. First of all, of course, as always, I will be waiting for a few minutes for everyone to gather, and don't forget to type your questions. I will answer everything. Now, today, generally, I will ask you to interact a lot. I will ask you questions so that you can answer in the comment section in the live chat. So please do. And today, of course, it will be a great lesson because you will have the opportunity to do something that most people love to do. Today, you'll have the opportunity to talk about things that annoy you and complain about them. So, you're gonna complain a lot. If you feel frustrated, I don't know how you feel, you can say everything to us in the live chat. So, let's get started. How annoyed do you feel today? Tell me, maybe you can use words like a little bit, a lot, very, just a bit, quite annoyed, incredibly annoyed, okay? So use a few modifiers to let me know how annoyed you feel today. Today I think I just feel a little bit annoyed, not too much, I'm generally fine, okay? I hope most of you do not feel very much annoyed, but in case you do, this is your opportunity to tell us everything and get it off your chest. Alright, so first, I have a question for you. I want you to go in the comments and the live chat and tell me what do you think that makes people feel annoyed. Of course, you can think about yourself, but you can think of other people, what you've heard, what they've told you. So we will try to create kind of a top annoying things, okay, from your answers. I'm sure that a lot of things come in mind right now, but try to prioritize them. Maybe try to give me the top annoying habits that people have or people do, okay? The truth is that when I was making this lesson, there was so many things that I wanted to put in that I really had to prioritize. And it seems that there are really a lot of things that annoy me, not only me, but a lot of people as well. So it's your opportunity. Tell me what annoys you in other people. What do other people do wrong that drives you crazy and you're really frustrated and overwhelmed when you see people behaving like that? And it could be a general behavior, social behavior, or it could be something that a person you personally know does that drives you mad. So you can choose. And of course, you can continue giving your opinions, and I will show you a few behaviors that are usually very annoying, and tell me if you agree in the comments. So let's see them one by one. I can't stand it when people don't pay attention to me when I'm talking. I wish they would really listen. Does this ever happen to you? Well, I know it happens to me. I have a few people in mind that never listen when I'm talking. So, yeah, I don't want to name them right now, but they know who they are. I hate it when people push others in a queue. I wish they would stop being so impatient. In case you don't remember what a queue is a line of people waiting one behind the other, like a queue in a supermarket, queue in a pharmacy, etc. Do you agree with that? Maybe you are the person who pushes in a queue? Think about it and tell me in the comments if you agree or not, or what your opinion is. I wish people would stop being rude. It is so difficult. Sorry, that's a question. Is it so difficult to say thank you and please? So, yeah, rudeness is a real problem. Why do some people think that rules don't apply to them? I wish they would have more common sense. Have you met anyone who knows what the rules are and they are positive about the rules? They always agree that this is a good way to do something, but they never follow the rule themselves. So I think that's really, really annoying. And I've seen many people actually, or I've met in my life many people who have the exact same mentality. It drives me crazy when someone eats loudly. I know it's something small, but I wish they'd stop that. Well, this is something smaller, that's true, but tell me, is there any one of you that feels really, really annoyed when other people eat or chew loudly? Or is it just me? Okay. And our last one. My best friend is always late. I wish she would be on time for a change. Now, here I know that there may be many people who are actually the person who is late. Tell me if you are the person who is late. I always try to be on time. I know other people who always try to be in time, who all are always early. But I think the majority of the people I know are always late. And 5-10 minutes is okay, but more than that, it is a bit annoying. Alright, so this was the first set of annoying things. I have one more set. But first, tell me your opinion about these 6 statements. Do you agree with them? Which one do you agree with the most? Is there something that you are doing? You are being the annoying person. And of course, you can give me more ideas, things that annoy you that maybe I don't have in the list. Alright, let's continue. I charge my phone again and again, and there is no battery when I need it. I wish it wouldn't die so easily. Well, I think that's a common problem. I have a problem too, but I always use my power bank, so I don't usually have problems. Except if you also forget to recharge the power bank, that can be a problem. The bus or the train being late is my worst nightmare. I wish they would be more punctual. And that's a problem that exists in many countries, I think. There are countries who are famous for their punctuality, but the majority of countries I've been to always have problems with buses and trains. The schedule is never set, and the buses and trains are never on time. I wish my flatmate wouldn't smoke. The whole house stinks. And I know that, okay, maybe they don't smoke inside the house, but still, there might be a smell coming from their clothes, and it's something really annoying, especially if you are not a smoker. I always hold the door for the person behind me. I wish everyone would do the same for me. Has this ever happened to you? Like, it happens to me very often. Well, very often. It has happened to me. You know, when many people go inside a room or a shop, there is a queue. You always hold the door for the person behind you. Most people, the majority of the people, are being really polite, but there is always the one person who will just leave the door closed shut on your face. Why does everyone have their phone in hand when we are out for drinks? I wish they would just put it away. Well, the truth is that sometimes I do that too, but I try not to. So I think the trick, guys, is just put it away. Keep your phone in your bag, keep your phone in your pocket, your jacket. Try to enjoy the company of your friends. And the last one, I don't want to pick up my phone after a long day at work. I wish everyone would just leave me alone. And this is so me, really. That's how I feel after a long day at work. Alright. Again, I want you to tell me about this set of annoying things. What do you think is the most annoying thing? What many of your friends do? Maybe what is something that you do? And continue giving me your ideas, guys. Okay, I'm waiting to see all your comments in the live chat and the comment section. So keep writing, please. And well, we saw a lot of annoying habits here, but I want to focus a little bit more on forms that we can use to express annoyance. And if you paid attention, if you have a keen eye, you might have seen that there is a form in all these examples that is repeated. I will go back and forth one more time, and I want you to tell me which do you think is the form that we use here to express annoyance. Okay, I go back to the other slide. Read it again very quickly, scan it, try to trace the common patterns. What is the similarity in all of these sentences? Let's go back to the other one. Did you find anything? If you did, if you found the pattern, write it in the comments. Let's see if you got it. Okay, so if you paid attention, if you focused, you saw that in all my sentences we have the verb wish and the modal would. I wish it wouldn't die. I wish they would be. Let me point it out for you as well. Okay. I wish they would listen. I wish they would stop. I wish people would stop being rude. I wish they would have. I wish they'd stop that. I wish you would be on time. I wish it wouldn't die. I wish they would be. I wish my flatmate wouldn't smoke. I wish everyone would do the same. I wish they would just put it away. I wish everyone would just leave me alone. So this is one form that I want you to keep in mind that you can use to express strong annoyance. Just keep in mind that you don't use it for something that it mildly annoys you. Use it for something that drives you crazy. That's why when you use this, your intonation should always be appropriate. If you pay attention to my sentences, you will see that all of them have an exclamation mark. That's because it will show you that you need to sound frustrated when you're saying that. Okay? So if you read the first sentence, you wouldn't say, I wish it wouldn't die so easily. Okay, this doesn't show frustration. It shows that you don't like it, but it's really mild. I want to see that it drives you crazy, like, I wish it wouldn't die so easily. Right? So that's the way to use this specific form. If you want to say something milder, we can use different forms, which we will talk about. Okay? So give it your best shot when you use that. Okay, let's pronounce a few more to see the intonation. I wish my flatmate wouldn't smoke. The whole house stinks. Alright? And something else that I want you to pay attention to. Take a look at the underlined words. These are the objects. Okay? I wish, and then I tell you who the person that annoys me is, or what the situation that annoys me is. We have it, they, okay. They refers to the bus and the train, my flatmate, everyone. They, okay, they here refers to my friends, the people I'm out with. But there is something that is important for you to remember. You always complain about somebody else. You never complain about yourself using this structure. So you wouldn't say, I wish I would be less shy. You only complain with, I will show it to you as well here, with you, he, she, it, they. You never use I or we. Okay. Imagine that you're kind of perfect, okay? There is nothing annoying about you, it's only the other people who annoy you. So you don't use I and we here. I wish you would be quiet. I wish they would be quiet. Alright? So now it's your turn. As you see, I want you to take a few minutes and try to write down your sentences, the things that annoy you. You might already have written them for me, but now you can try to rewrite them using the specific structure, okay? So if you wrote before something like rude people annoy me, you can change it and write I wish people wouldn't be so rude. Okay? So try to change your sentences using a specific structure, and I will be waiting to see your answers. Okay? You can write as many as you want. The more you practice, the better it will be for you. And you saw actually in our example, so you can use it in a positive and a negative form. I wish he wouldn't smoke. Okay, or I wish he would be quiet. So you can use any of the two forms you want, and remember that your verb after would is always an infinitive, okay? In the classic way, would plus infinitive. And I want to see a lot of people writing to them. You know, I always say that there are specific people writing in the comments, but this is a good opportunity for everyone to write a little bit more, because I'm sure you have a lot of things that you want to share that are annoying you, okay? And you want to take them off your chest. And I know that most people really like complaining, and including me, but not very much. So that's your opportunity. You can take advantage of it and complain about everything. Something else that I want you to have in mind is that when we complain, when we express annoyance, we can use also many different adjectives to describe your feelings. Annoyed, of course, or irritated is not the only adjective that you can use. And now I will see if you remember a few adjectives that we learned a few lessons back as well. Okay, I will test your memory. So let's go to that. Let's focus on vocabulary, on feelings that show annoyance mostly. And it's a special category of adjectives that we'll focus on. Today is adjectives that can be shaped with both ed and ing. So the same root, the same word can form the adjective bored and the adjective boring. Now, I want you to tell me first and write in the comments if you can think of more sets of adjectives like bored, boring, okay, the same word with ed, same word with ing. And I think it's pretty common, so you can think of many examples and write them down. But there are also a few exceptions, a few tricky words that we think they have ed and ing, but that's not true. So we're going to focus on that as well a little bit later. In the meantime, keep writing the sets that come to your mind, like bored, boring. Okay, there are so many classic examples that we learn in lower levels as well, like interested, interesting, and so on. But I don't want to say more. I want you to give me your ideas and think about it. Alright, very nice. Thank you guys. And what we're going to do now is look at a few examples using adjectives like that and see which one is the correct adjective, which adjective fits. Or, because in the exercise we'll see we may have a choice to use the verb if the verb fits. Before we continue, I only have one question for you. When do we use bored, for example? And when do we use boring? What does ed talk about? And what does ing talk about? Tell me in the comments. Think about it for a minute. I will give you an example to help you if you're not sure. You can say, I was really bored while I was watching the film. Or you could say, this film was really boring. So what's the difference between my two examples? Well, if you think about it, one of them is describing a situation, and one of them describes a feeling. And it's the ed that describes the feeling, it's the ing that describes the situation. I am bored, I feel bored. And the film is boring, the situation is boring. So keep that in mind. And let's practice. So as I told you, you need to choose between the ed adjective, the ing adjective, or the verb, and change it accordingly. You can see the given word at the end of each sentence, and we'll do one example together as well to get you started. So look at number 1. I feel when I see my children being rude. Your word is disappoint. Now, the first question you need to ask yourself is, do I need a verb or an adjective? And check. Do you already have a verb? Yes, we do have a verb. We have the verb I feel. So we can't use another verb. Now, the second question, do we use an ed adjective or an ing adjective? Are we describing a feeling or are we describing a situation? In this case, it's quite easy because you also have the verb feel that helps you understand we are talking about a feeling. So we want ed. Okay. So your answer would be, I feel disappointed when I see my children being rude. And I will give you a few minutes to complete the next 3 sentences, and then I have another 4 for you in the next slide, okay? So let's see these first. Read them through quickly, and then we'll check them together as well. And as I told you, there are these 2 questions that you need to ask yourself. One is, do we have a verb? And if yes, you choose the adjective. And then you have a second question, okay, which is, do I talk about a feeling? so I choose ed, or do I talk about a situation, describe a situation, in which case you use ing. So write your answers if you found the correct 1, 2, 3, 4, and the answer in the comments and the live chat. And let me read the sentences for you one time, give you a few more seconds to complete it. It always, the verb is amaze me how selfish people are. I can't even have a fight about him smoking anymore. I'm just, and your word is exhaust. Last minute work out of the blue. So frustrate. And remember, out of the blue means very suddenly, unexpectedly. So let's take a look one by one. Do we have a verb in the second sentence, in the beginning of the second sentence? It, always, me. There is no verb. So that's a clue that we need to use a verb. And don't forget the S, because it's third person. It amazes me. I can't even have a fight about him spelling anymore. I'm just. Now here we do have a verb. Your verb is am, I am. And do we describe a feeling or a situation? I talk about me. How do I feel about fighting? I'm exhausted. Last minute work out of the blue is so. Now in this case, I'm describing the word work. How does work make the environment for me? It's frustrating. Last minute work is frustrating. Alright, now if you have any questions so far, please ask me in the comments on the live chat and I will answer and try to clarify any questions you have. And let's see 4 more examples, okay? I'll just read them for you and you can start writing your answers in the live chat. They just keep sending me from one office to the other. The situation, me, the verb is infuriate. Imagine here that you want to get some documents, maybe from a public office, and it is a very common situation, bureaucracy, okay, everywhere. So they just keep sending you from one office to the other and you can't find out what you actually need. Number 6, sometimes I feel, terrified is the word, by people's stupidity. Okay, yes, that's true, I agree. I can't get why people start yelling in public. Can't they see it's, and the word is embarrassed. I can never understand how taxes work. Just, the word is bewilder. And let's see if you remember that we learned that a few lessons back. It actually means, if you remember, to confuse. Okay, it's bewildering, it's confusing. I feel bewildered, I feel confused. And some people also ask me about number 5, about the word infuriate. If you know the word furious, then you know what this verb means. Okay, it means to make someone furious, make someone angry. Alright, so let's take a look together. They just keep sending me from one office to the other. The situation, so I describe the situation, but do we have a verb? There is no verb here. We just have this situation, me. So we need a verb. In a different case, if we had a verb like is, you could say this situation is infuriating. And you don't need me in the end. Sometimes I feel. So here the verb feel is a sign that you need an ed adjective. I feel terrified. And remember the spelling, the IED. I can't get why people start yelling in public. Can't they see it's? I'm describing the situation of yelling in public. This situation is embarrassing. And I can never understand how taxes work. It's just me. Again, you see that there is no verb in my sentence, so I need to use my word as a verb. And of course, don't forget the S, because you have a third person. It bewilders me. Alright, how did you do? Tell me in the comments if you thought it was easy, if something was a bit challenging for you, and I'll try to answer any questions you have and clarify it. Now, I don't know if you remember in the beginning I told you that there are quite a few exceptions, words that we think have an ed and ing adjective, but the truth is that the ed adjective exists, the ing adjective does not exist, there is something different. So we have ed and what if we don't have ing. Let's see if you know some of them. I want to test your knowledge. So you see the words in my text: offend, impress, stress, scare, delight. And yes, it's a fact that all of them have an adjective with ed: offended, impressed, stressed, scared, delighted. But in this exercise, I want you to write the alternative adjective, which is not ing. So the word offending does not exist. Stressing does not exist. Scaring and delighting do not exist either. Okay? So take a minute, try to think what is the adjective that we're looking, what is the ending of the adjective that we're looking for. Some of them might be easier than others, but I'll give you a minute to think about it, and then we'll take a look at the answers together. And I will read the text with you once, just to help you focus on the meaning too. Their behavior is really offend. And what is impress? It's that they don't even realize it. It is at least stress and even scare to be in the same room with them. Their parents, on the other hand, are delight, so well-mannered and polite. I don't understand how their children ended up like that. So imagine that you are talking to a friend and you're kind of complaining about the behavior of specific people, comparing their negative behavior with the positive behavior of their parents. Try to make comparison here. So if you found the adjectives, write them in the comments in the live chat. Okay, I'm waiting for you. And when we finish that, we'll focus a little bit more on the pronunciation. And it's actually kind of a revision what we'll do next, because we'll talk about the pronunciation of adjectives with ed. We have already talked about the pronunciation of ed before, so it's a good opportunity to see if you remember that. And if you don't remember, it's a good opportunity to revise. Okay, guys, let's see the answers together. Their behavior is really offensive. So you see that the D here is lost. We change it with an S and I, V, E. The same is with our next word, impressive. And what is impressive is that they don't even realize it. Then we go to full. We have stressful. It is at least stressful and even scary to be in the same room with them. Your parents, on the other hand, are delightful, so well-mannered and polite. I don't understand how their children ended up like that. So well-mannered means that they behave in a really good way. Okay, they have good manners. And if there is something else in relation to the vocabulary that you're not sure about, please tell me. Alright guys, so as I promised, we go back to remember the pronunciation of ED. There are three ways to pronounce it, as id, as t, and as d. Here are some of the adjectives that we saw today. I will pronounce them very, very quickly for you once. I'll give you some time to complete the categories. Then I will give you the rules to see if you remember, and then you can change your opinion. So let's pronounce first. Disappointed, amazed, exhausted, frustrated, infuriated, terrified, embarrassed, bewildered, offended, stressed, impressed, scared. Now, I don't know if this helped you, okay? The point is to pronounce them fast because I want to see what you remember as well. So take a minute, try to put them in the correct categories. You can write it in the comments. For example, you can write id and then write the adjective, or write t and then write the adjectives. Okay? So I'll be waiting, and you can pronounce them as I always say. If you're alone at home and you're not disturbing anyone, you're not annoying anyone, you can try to pronounce the words loudly. It will help you a lot to find the correct answer, and it will help you a lot to practice your pronunciation as well. I will pronounce them just one more time for you really, really fast. Disappointed, amazed, exhausted, frustrated, infuriated, terrified, embarrassed, bewildered, offended, stressed, impressed, and scared. I know it's a lot. How many do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have 12 words, okay? So I will give you some more time to go through everything and form an opinion before I give you the rules that can help you. Okay, so here are the rules. I'm not sure if you remember them. If your infinitive finishes in t or d, the ed is pronounced id, like need. The infinitive finishes in d, need. So the pronunciation of ed is id, need, id, needed. If your infinitive finishes, if your infinitive finishes in k, f, p, s, sh, and ch, your pronunciation is t. Okay. For example, remember, now I gave you a verb as an example, but it's the same thing with the adjectives. Okay, it's the same exactly pronunciation. For example, if we have the word stress, which finishes in a s, the correct pronunciation will be t, stressed. And if you have any other sound that finishes your word, verb or adjective, then your sound is d. Okay, so let's take a look at the answers together. And I want you to focus on the last sound of the verb here, okay? Disappoint, it's a t. Exhaust, frustrate, infuriate, offend. You have t and d. So here your pronunciation of the ed is id. Let's pronounce them together. Disappointed, exhausted, frustrated, infuriated, offended. Okay, so my id is very, very clear here. Then let's see the ones that have the sound two. Now here it just happened that all our examples have the sound s. Fine. So we have embarrass, stress, impress, and your ed is that t. Embarrassed is a st. Embarrassed, stressed, impressed. And here we have different sounds. We have z in amaze, terrify, okay, I, bewilder, scare. So your pronunciation here is d, amazed, terrified, bewildered, scared. And some people here get confused and they put terrified in the id section, but terrify, the id, the e, sorry, is already there. We don't add it later. So your infinitive would be terrify, and you just add the d, terrified. All right, guys. So I hope you remembered the rules, because this is a very common confusion for many students. How do we pronounce with this ed? Okay, so try to practice a little bit more on that, and I'm sure that you will not have many problems in the future. And let's see what we talked about today. We talked a little bit about grammar, how to express our annoyance with the specific form wish plus would plus infinitive. We focused on vocabulary and specifically adjectives with ed and ing and a few exceptions as well. And we revised the pronunciation of adjectives this time ending in ed. They're pronounced as id, t, and d. So, this is the end of our class for today. Please take a minute before we finish to tell me what did you learn today. And I really want you to tell me the first thing that comes in your mind. Okay, something that you liked, something that you enjoyed, something that made an impression on you that you didn't know before, something that you thought was different and you saw the correct form today. And let me know generally what you like or not, so that I can make my next lessons even better. So that was the end of our class for today, guys. Thank you very much for being here with me, and please be here next time. Okay, bye. Have a nice rest of the day.